Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today I'm going to be giving you 3 tips for each ELO bracket on how to escape that bracket, how to climb, and what your mission should be for each one of the ELO ranges from Iron all the way through Platinum into Low Diamond. So special thanks to Lucas for the very generous donation for this video. I really appreciate it. And I'm also going to, as we talk through these things, I'm going to link you to some other videos that I have as well if you're interested in a more in-depth treatment of some of the various topics we're going to be talking about as we go through. So I have one video for each ELO range that you should really watch and consider in order to make that level up. And keep in mind that this guide is also going to be cumulative. So the stuff that you learn in Iron, you should also apply in Bronze, and the stuff that you learn in Bronze, you should also apply into Silver, and so on and so forth. And it's really just an extension of learning these 3 basic fundamentals of the game and then improving on those as you go along. So, you know, the difference between like a silver player and a platinum player isn't that the platinum player is just tremendously from a different universe, you know, than a silver player when they're playing. It's just they do some of these fundamental things just a little bit incrementally better than a gold player. And the gold player is going to do that incrementally a little bit better than a silver player. So it's something that you evolve over time, not just a magical skill set that you hit when you get to a certain marker, right? And so the 3 main sort of themes that I want to focus on here, actually 4. One is your CS per 10 is a really good thing that you can control almost every game, as well as your warding and your vision control. Number 2 is thinking about just overall research and kind of out-of-game stuff, champion select, learning appropriate items, runes, learning certain matchups, learning specific tactics you can do in the game. So just sort of like preparation you can do before the game, just overall knowledge of the game. Another one is laning, which is always really important. And then the final one is how to master macro. So you've got kind of the micro and laning aspect of it, the macro aspect, and then the overall game knowledge aspect. And we'll talk about how you can level up each one of those as you go through. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll also have timestamps in the description if you want to jump around to your favorite parts. And if you would like a guide like this, if you have a certain idea that you would like to see me research and explore and then make a video for, just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. It's just $30. I'll do any guide on any topic that you want. If you're a channel member, it's just $25. If you want to see all of the guides, I'll also have a link in the description if you want to see some of these other guides that I'm talking about and a ton more. I've probably got like 40 or 50 guides on the channel. Be sure to check those out. And if you enjoy the content, be sure to like and subscribe as well. It helps other people find the content on the channel as well, and it'll help keep you up to date whenever I release new content. Okay, let's go ahead and get going here. Okay, so Iron. So the overall theme of Iron is you should be learning the game, pretty much. These are going to be relatively newer players or people that don't spend a lot of time with the game and just maybe play it casually with their friends. People might have some severe connectivity issues. There might be a lot of focus issues. You know, people just aren't really coming in with the right mindset. They're getting distracted really easily. These are all overall things that you can work on as we go, but here are some more specific things that you can work on. So 50 CS by 10 minutes I think is fairly reasonable. That's getting about half of the CS that comes down the lane. So every 6 minions or so that come through, you're getting about 3 of them. I think that's a pretty reasonable goal to have. Another goal, and you'll see this for every single one, but I repeat it always, is particularly if you're a support, you want to try to average 1 ward per minute and then 1 control ward per 5 minute. This is always under your control, right? Regardless whether you're losing or winning or anything, if you're a support, you can always aim to average 1 ward per minute and then 1 control ward per 5 minutes. If you play a different role, the goal should be to have 1 control ward on the map pretty much at all times. Like, you don't leave your base initially at level 1 with a control ward, but every single back you should be thinking about getting a control ward. And I just want to make the case really quickly for control wards. I know that a lot of people think that they're a tax, right? It's an extra 75 gold that's delaying you from getting some of your key items. That's the incorrect way to think about it. Control wards give you power. They allow you to be aggressive, which we'll talk about in here, because they're going to give you more vision. They're going to give you more confidence that the enemy jungler is not going to be there, and they're going to be able to lock out vision if you put them in the right places, which we'll talk about in a little bit, so that it's going to make the enemy either play in fear or they might play too aggressively and you can get some ganks on your side. So overall, if you're using your control words correctly, that's actually going to gain you more CS. You're going to get more gold, right? Because you're going to have the confidence to go step up and get some of those CS. You're going to have the confidence to take those really good trades, right? And so you're going to be able to push the enemy back. You're going to deny them CS. You're going to just set yourself up to manage the wave the way that you want to manage it. Also, you're going to be able to get objectives more. You're going to, have that control word for the Baron, have that control word for the Dragon. Even if your support's getting the control words too, there's always room for more control words, right? Vision is the most powerful resource in the game. Think about how most games are won and lost, right? Somebody gets caught, right? Regardless of the ELO bracket, it's almost always somebody gets caught at any point in the game, right? From a level 1, invade all the way up until 50 minutes in the game, positioning around Baron. It almost always comes down to someone getting caught. I would say at least half of the games are someone getting caught. How do they get caught? You don't have vision of the area, right? And usually it's because the enemy does have vision and you don't have vision. Control words fix both of those, right? They allow you to lock out the enemy vision so they can't see what you're doing, and it also gives you vision so that you can do more. So control words are extremely powerful. You can always do that. You can always buy them. So don't think of it as a tax, right? Think of it as an investment. You're able to get more control over the lane. You're able to get more CS. You're able to get more potential kills and apply more pressure to objectives. So it is an investment, not a tax. Always get your control words. Okay, and you can do that even in Iron. Nothing stops you from buying control words just because you're Iron. Just because most people won't get control words, you always have that under your control. No one can ever stop you from doing that. So you want to try to control the things you can control. You're learning the game. Your mechanics might be a little rusty. You might have some lag. There might be some focus issues going on there. You may not know what champions do, but damn it, you can always get those control words, and you can always try to last hit your CS. Even if you're losing the lane terribly and getting pushed in, you can always practice last hitting those CS. Okay, so aim for 50 CS. Get that control word. Put down as many normal words as you can. And just in general, just research the game. That'll put you ahead of so many people in Iron because there are so many people that just don't even care. They just log in, they just play the game very casually. They just play whatever they want to play or maybe something they saw in an all caps video. They just really don't have a good grasp on which champions are strong and why. And so research these things. Go to something like Lolalytics, right, which will give you percentages on who's winning currently. So if we look at some of the highest win rate champions, we have Sona, we have Zyra. You can even sort it by your bracket. So if you're in Iron, right, you can click on Iron. Then just go through to like a detailed list. There are other sites that do this as well. I just like Lolalytics because the way they have it all laid out. But if we, click on support, click on win rate. You obviously want to look at something that probably has like a 5% or higher win rate a lot of times because it's like, wow, a 65% win rate Talia, well, that's one person who's probably smurfing, right? It's 0.1% pick rate. So, look at things like, okay, Zyra, Brands, Sona, all of these are performing really well, right? You can look at people that provide tier lists, right? So I provide tier lists every patch for support and AD carry. I'm going to try to provide it for other roles as well. But just look at people that give you some honest tier lists out there, right? And people will do it usually depending on what their specialty is on YouTube. Some content creators will create jungle tier lists. Some will create support tier lists. But just think about it. Look at a whole bunch of different tier lists, right? You can look at pro builds and maybe compare it to what I do. You can maybe compare it to some other people out there who create tier lists per patch. And just see what you think. Just listen to the explanations from different people. Try some of those champions out. Figure out what works for you and practice that champion a lot. So just do that little bit of research. Then once you figure out a champion that you think might be pretty good that you want to try out, go look it up on a website like u.gg. This is a great place to start. So if you look up like Cassiopeia, for example, right here, you figured out Cassiopeia is good. You watch some pro games. She's getting picked a lot. A lot of people like me and maybe pro builds were talking about why Cassiopeia is good. Maybe mid beast or something like that. You want to learn her? Just go here. It's a really good place to start. It has just basic information about which runes to get, which items are going to be really good, the skill order you should be getting, which summoners you get. So this will tell you what the highest win rate builds are. And you can even click on like a little small sample of pro builds as well. So you can see, which builds different pros are building in different situations. Now this is great for just Iron when you're starting to just basically figure stuff out. As you move up a little bit, you want to look at a thing like pro builds, right? If we click on Cassiopeia here, the reason that I like adding in pro builds is because you can see matchups and try to understand matchups as well. So if we look here, you know, maybe I want to play a Cassiopeia top lane, for example, right? And maybe that build is going to be a little bit different than Cassiopeia in the mid lane. You can click here as well and see what the top lane builds are. So you can kind of see a little bit of that. But it doesn't show you specific matchups. So we can see, okay, he's playing against a Tryndamere here. What does he change? Does he do something different? Does he take different summoners? Does he level up his skill order in a different way? Does he take different runes? Cassiopeia's runes are pretty standardized across all of her different positions, but that may not always be the case. There might be some cases with some champions where you take different runes. You know, on Zyra in some matchups, maybe you want to take Dark Harvest. Maybe you want to take Electrocute in other matchups. Maybe sometimes you want Ravenous Hunter. Maybe sometimes you want to be greedy and go Ultimate Hunter. So it depends on the champion, but when you look at something like pro builds and you start to get a little bit more advanced, it's probably a little much for iron, but you start getting into, you know, gold and into platinum, you want to really take a look and think about the matchups. Okay, why did they pick this champion here? Why did they... Now, keep in mind, maybe they didn't know what their matchup was. They could have been first pick and they got counterpicked, so we don't know the pick order here. You can at least see things like, okay, what's the matchup? Which items are they getting? Which runes are they getting? You can see how the game's going, right? Maybe they are winning the game really hard, so they got a Magi's. Maybe they're losing the game, and they have a really fed AD assassin, so maybe they decided to get Azania's Hourglass that game. So it's really important for understanding how the game flow is going, how the matchup is, and how people adapt. And we'll talk about that as we get into silver and gold, adapting and understanding matchups. But when you're starting in iron, it's good to just get in the habit of just doing at least some very basic research, just understanding runes and items. Because you wouldn't believe, even in high platinum, even in diamond sometimes, people don't get the right runes and items. Like, really obvious things. I'm not talking about like, well, it's a judgment call, you know, 50-50, should you go this item or that item. I'm talking like really, really far out of left field. Runes and items that people get. So you need to definitely make sure that you're on point with that. Once again, kind of like the CS and the control wards, it's really hard to mess that up. That's fully under your control. You can always do research, and you can always buy the correct items. You can always get the correct runes, regardless of what's going on in the game, right? At least on a basic level, right? Like, maybe you're not going to make the right judgment call in terms of a couple of, like, really niche items or sort of adaptive items you should get, but you can at least know the fundamental stuff. So make sure you're on point with that. Focus on last hits mostly, okay? Take some opportunistic trades if you want to, but the most important thing in the lane is to land those last hits. And that should be free gold. All right, so, you know, one thing that I see a lot of times from coaching kind of lower level players is sometimes they'll focus too much on trying to hit the enemy, right? They'll try to hit them with their spells. Maybe they'll chase them around the lane a little bit, and they'll miss so much CS. What you really want to do is make sure that you're landing that CS. So if we look over here, you know, just if you're not sure about the matchup, right, maybe you haven't played the game a lot, maybe you're just trying out a champion for the first time, maybe you're playing, you know, Ezreal and you're playing into Draven or something like that, it's okay to play a little bit scared at Iron while you're trying to figure out sort of what's going on, how your champion works, but just try to hit those CS, right? Because if you think about it, a minion wave is going to have somewhere, you know, it's going to have 3 ranged minions, which I think are worth 14 each, and then the melee minions are worth like 21 each. So it's going to be somewhere near like 100 to 150 gold. I don't remember the exact number per minion wave, right? That's a lot. So, you know, you're missing out on a kill. You know, each one of those is going to be about a third of a kill, not including the cannon. You get the cannon every other wave. So really, you know, like probably 3 waves is going to be worth a kill. So if you're missing, you know, half of the CS out there, then you're potentially, you know, only getting half the kills, right, in terms of gold, if you think about that. So a lot of times it can be just as important or sometimes even more important to get that CS lead and, you know, get the advantage over time, right? To end your laning phase up 30 CS is going to be stronger than just having 1 extra kill. It might even be stronger than 2 kills, depending on the experience advantage. And another thing, they did add in some, like, CS bounties, but they're still relatively low. They're certainly a lot lower than the bounties for kills. So if you get like maybe 3 kills in the lane, but you're down 30 CS of the enemy, when they kill you, they're going to get that gold back, right? They're going to get the shutdown gold, and it's going to rubber band the lead, right? So you're going to lose a lot of your lead whenever you get shut down. If you have a CS advantage, you're not going to lose nearly as much. If you're up 30 CS and they kill you, they're not going to get that much of an advantage, right? Maybe a little bit, but they're not going to get the same amount of shutdown gold that they would get if they killed you if you had the kills. So ideally, you're getting kills and getting a CS advantage, but if you have to pick one, you should try to get the CS advantage, especially in Iron, because you can always focus on that. You can always hit some more CS. And people really aren't going to be coming at you that hard most of the time in Iron. A lot of people are just going to be sitting there, like, just kind of, you know, sauntering about, maybe trading every now and then, but they're not going to be pressuring you that hard for the CS. So you should be able to try to get to about 50 CS. And then finally, just start thinking about objectives, right? So I have a guide here for you, but just start thinking, okay, I got to kill. Can we maybe go try Dragon, right? Or I got to kill. Let's see if we can get a tower, right? Because one mistake that a lot of people will make is they get a kill and they'll just simply back. So they won't do anything. They won't try to get any damage on the tower. They won't push the wave in. Just do something. You know, you get a kill bot lane, at least try to push the wave into the tower and then take your back after that. Then at least you're getting sort of a CS advantage there. Or sometimes I'll see people get kills in the river and they'll just go ahead and back. It's like, no, you just killed 2 people in the river. Try to get this dragon. Or like Barons right here, you just won a team fight mid lane. 3 of them are dead. See if you can go over and get the Baron. So you may not be able to make the right call all the time, but just try to get it in your mind. When we get a kill, we're going to try to get something, right? We're going to try to get a dragon. We're going to try to get a Baron if it seems appropriate. Baron's risky. We're going to try to see if we can get a tower, at least get a couple of tower plates. Maybe their blue's up. We're going to at least see if we can take this blue on the way out. Or I'm standing right next to their Gromp. We just want to fight in the jungle. Let me just see if I can grab their Gromp really quick before we get out. Just get something. Just get, you know, whatever you can, preferably either a tower, a dragon, or a Baron if it's not too risky. On the way out. Don't settle for just getting a kill. Don't chase kills all over the jungle. You know, a lot of times people get 1 kill here and there's someone just barely getting away with some health. They'll chase them like all the way to their tier 2 tower. It's not worth it. Just you get this kill here, they're running, just let them run and get this dragon and then back. Right? Because even if you run them down and kill them and other people spawn and come in to reinforce the dragon, that's a loss. Even if you get the kill, if you could have had a dragon instead, dragon's a lot more powerful than a kill. Even a win dragon. I have a whole video about dragons. We'll talk about that here in a second. But just think about objectives. Just put it on your radar. Just think, okay, we got a kill. What can we get? All right, not chase kills. Sometimes it's okay, you know, if it's not going to take too long to run down a kill. But more times than not, you should just turn around and try to get an objective instead if they're running away. Unless it's like super obvious, you can kill them quickly. Okay, so let's move on up into bronze. All right, so with bronze, you've kind of made it through iron a little bit. You know, you're going to have a bit more focus. You're going to be, you know, maybe specializing a little bit more, maybe learning how to trade and fight in lanes a little bit more. So your main objective here should be just get a little bit more CS, get 55 CS, just work on those mechanics a little bit. If you play the same type of champions, which I have right here, over and over again, that helps you with the CS because you learn the auto attack animations of the champion, you learn their spells, you learn how much damage you'll do to the minion wave with those spells. So in Iron, you're kind of exploring. It's okay if you're trying out a bunch of different champions. You're just trying to learn how to play strong champions. But now you need to rein it in a little bit, right? You need to try to focus in. Can I at least focus on one role, right? Can I, you know, learn mid lane, or I'm going to learn top lane? If you're not learning support, you're really going to have to learn 2 roles because you're going to get your off role a lot. If you play support, you're probably not going to get your off role too much. But yeah, here you should be trying to specialize, try to focus, try to learn 3 to 5 champions. I have a whole video about this, so be sure to check that out. You know, 3 to 5, like how to choose a champion and how to like learn that champion and specialize in that champion a bit more. So be sure to watch that video. I think this might actually be the link for my dragons, right?
This is Toby.
Yeah,
you love shopping at Chewy.com because
so yeah, if you want to learn like how to get some of those dragons, how to get the Baron, then I've got that video there for you for Iron. Once again, you don't have to do all of the advanced stuff that I talk about in there, but just get it on your radar and start thinking about it. Try to specialize in a role. That's going to help you out with your mechanics a lot. That's going to give you sort of a foundational understanding of different matchups. You're going to learn, okay, this champion's kind of bad into that champion. This champion's, kind of bad into this champion. But the most important thing is just to get some reps on a champion, just to get some games under your belt, start to learn when to trade, how to last hit, different matchups, sort of on a fundamental level. That'll be super helpful. Now, as you're last hitting, start to think about trading with your spells in the laning phase. So start to think, okay, I am Caitlyn, my Q is up, I'm going to see if I can hit him with a Q. Or I'm going to start using my traps to zone people out a little bit. Or they're in the wide open here, maybe this Alistar is about to engage on me, I'm going to use my net. So, obviously you want to use your spells if you're an Iron, but the main focus of your laning phase should be last hitting. Now, you should be able to focus on last hitting and also throw a spell in there every now and then just to do a little bit of damage. Okay, so just step your game up with the laning a little bit by trying to land those spells whenever they're off cooldown, as long as you have enough mana to, make that work, right? So just hit them with a Gen Grenade if you can, hit them with a Caitlyn Q, hit them with some Ezreal Qs. Just try to add that to your thought process while you last hit. And then finally, one of the big things that you need to be able to do to climb, and Bronze is a great place to start this, don't die, right? Get your deaths down to 4 or less. If you're dying more than 4 times, it means you're doing bad things, right? You're chasing kills, you're trying to dive towers when you shouldn't, you're trying to engage fights that are really bad. Just look at your mini-map a little bit, just think, is this going to be a good play or not? That's a little bit more advanced, something you should be doing in Gold and Silver, but you can start doing that in Bronze. Just figure out how not to die. So you want to be assertive, you want to try to make plays, right? We'll talk about that in Silver when you start, really trying to go aggro and get your advantages. But in general, for Bronze, don't die. 4 deaths or less, any way that has to happen, do it. So, number 1 rule, I would say foundationally, is learn how to not die. And then after you've learned how to not die, then learn how to trade more aggressively once we get up into Silver. But it all starts with, kind of learning your limits a little bit, learning when you shouldn't chase, learning when you shouldn't dive, learning when you shouldn't get baited by your teammates. If your teammates are doing something stupid, let them die. Okay, that's really hard to do as a support. If you're dying too much, play a safer champion. If you find yourself dying 10 times every game as Alistar, maybe try out something like Rakan, who still hasn't engaged, but he could be a little bit safer. Maybe try out an enchanter like Janna, right? Someone who has that range, who can stay really far back, play very safely, but still influence fights. But however you got to do it, you got to get those deaths down to 4 or less. Maybe you have to put Yasuo on the shelf for a little bit, your 12 death per game Yasuo on the shelf, and maybe pick up Camille or something like that. Very aggressive, can take good trades, but also is much safer. She can get away with her hook shot a lot. So just think about that and figure out, do whatever you got to do to get your deaths under 4. Play your favorite champions. Play what you want to play. You don't always have to play the Janna or something that's like ultra safe, but just learn how to dial it back a little bit. If you can only get it down to 5 deaths, but you previously had 10 deaths, that's progress. Okay, so just try to get those deaths down as low as you can, but really aim for 4, I think, is a good number, 4 or less. Okay. Now, there's always the argument, but some deaths are really good if you're being really aggressive and making trades. That's true, but most deaths are not good. Most deaths are very preventable. You could have had a similar effect without dying. So I think that learning how to be conscious about your deaths and dial it back a little bit. We'll talk about how to play more defensively sort of when we, start thinking about gold level and certain trades, but in general, you can start doing that in Bronze. If you're getting smoked in lane, if you're getting destroyed, you die twice, 1v1, stop fighting that person. Just, get whatever CS you can. Just at least stay in range for experience. Wait on the jungler to come help you. If your bot lane's winning hard, your bot lane's 5-0, and you've died twice top lane to the Darius, and he's just sitting there right on top of the minion wave, and you can't get any CS, that means you can't get any CS. Just sit there and wait. Just do the best you can, but stop dying, right? Sometimes it's okay if other lanes carry you. It happens to all of us, right? So just be aware that even though you're having a bad time in your lane sometimes, maybe you're getting completely dominated, some of your teammates might be winning. And if you can just stop feeding, then, they might give you a chance to get back in the game. So even if you're, an 0-2 gangplank and you're down 40 CS in the laning phase, maybe your bot lane Vayne is 5-0, you know, maybe they're going to have to go down there and try to deal with her, and that'll give you a chance to get some free farm top lane so you can get yourself back into the game. So just look for opportunities, be safe, lower those deaths. Try to go for 4 or less. Okay. When you start to get into, excuse me, you start to get into silver, you're getting into average player territory. We don't exactly know how the distribution is going to shake out with iron and bronze because we haven't had an actual season with that yet. But I highly suspect that somewhere around like bronze 1 and silver 4 is probably going to be about the average distribution. So you're starting to get into average to slightly above average players as you move up through silver. So you can expect most people to have a basic grasp on the champion that they're playing, a basic grasp on, you know, simple trades in lane, basic grasp on things like you want to try to get a tower after kills or get a dragon after kills. So they're going to understand pretty much what's going on. They're going to be aware and all that kind of stuff. So it's, you know, you need to kind of you're going to have to put a bit more effort into it if you want to climb from silver up to gold. You're going to have to put more effort than the average player in there. You're going to have to research more. You're going to have to learn your champion a little bit better. But here are a few things that I think can really help you out. Number 1 is learn how to bush bait. This is really simple to do against a lot of silver players. It just requires a little bit of next level thinking, right? It requires a little bit of planning, a little bit of going outside of your comfort zone, a little bit of, you know, moving beyond just the standard. So what do I mean by this? Okay, really simple one. First of all, you need control of the bushes. So if you're playing an aggressive champion like a Zyra, you know, like a Leona, like a Brand, those are going to be the best types of champions to do this with. And we'll talk about that here in a second about playing aggressive in the laning phase. But once you get priority, just see if you can notice where they're putting their wards. If they have a ward in this bush, if you can get a sweeper or a control ward, it's great. So after your first back, see if you can come back in with a control ward, especially if you're the support down here. You can do this kind of stuff in other roles as well. But I think as a support role, this is something you can definitely do to gain a lot of ELO. Because I hear people complain all the time, well, you can't gain ELO as a support. It's impossible. Yeah, you can. And this is how you do it. Okay, so you push them in a tower. You know, your 80 carries over here. Try to get control of this bush, either with a control ward or just be pretty confident they don't have a ward in this bush. One way really quickly you can check to see if it has a ward in the bush, whenever you push them in, just stand over here. Now, a lot of times you can tell if it's warded or not if you're paying attention because they're going to be very scared of you if you have lane dominance. But if the minions walk up and they start to come towards you, that means it's warded. If the minions do not come towards you, if the minions just walk right past you, that means it's not warded. So that's a really good way to see if a bush is warded or not, is just see how the minions behave when a fresh wave comes in after you crash it into the tower, and that'll let you know. So what you do is you'll push in like this. You push them in a tower. Let them see you walk this way, okay? So once you're pretty sure this is not warded, playing something like Zyra, Brand, you know, Leona, whatever, can do something aggressive in the laning phase. Walk this way. Let them see you walk this way. Get out of vision, and then loop back around this way and walk over to here. I talk about this a lot in my how to make proactive plays and my 5 tips for diamond video that I link later in the platinum section. This is a really simple thing to do. Just let them see you walk out of here, walk all the way back around. 80 carry is going to back up a little bit. As soon as they walk out here, usually to go ward this bush, boom, you got them with Zyra, blow them up. Okay? So that's what I mean by bush baiting. Another thing might be, you know, maybe you clear out vision here. You can do this at level 1. This is kind of common in higher ELOs. If you're pretty sure they didn't ward this, you can just stand here with your 80 carry and the support. A lot of people, after they clear red, they'll just start walking through here. You can grab them, get a flash. Sometimes you get a kill level 1 right there. It's really simple to do, especially if you have a cane or something like that that's going to start topside raptors and you don't have to leash for them. That's a really good thing to do. Now, be aware, most junglers are going to need a leash here, so you're not going to want to do that, but there might be some opportunities where you could potentially pull that off. So that's a good way to bush. Just if you know somebody's going to rotate, right? So if you have really good vision control, let's say that, you know, you have, you know their jungler is going to be at Raptors right now because you have a ward here, right? let's say your 80 carries down here, you're the support up here, you have a ward there, you have a ward here, your Zyra hanging out on this bush. Let's grab their jungler. So you know their jungler's right here at Raptors. You suspect they might try to come around for a gank. You can just hang out in this bush right here. As soon as they try to walk through this area, boom, got them, blow them up with Zyra, Brand, something like that. Maybe a Leona if you ping your mid laner. So that's just what I'm talking about. Just start looking for opportunities. Just say, hey, can I get them in this bush, right? Maybe Baron is a super common area where you can do this. We'll talk about Baron baiting. I think I talk about that maybe in the gold level. But if you can get vision right here and you know they have to go check Baron, let's say you had this pinked, you know, there's no way that it's warded. Super common place just to hang out. You have a little drawing tool. Yeah, just to hang out in this area. Or even like right here. And then when someone, you know, tries to walk through here, just blow them up out of the bush, right? Or like you can hang out right here. And then when they try to walk this way to go check the bush, or maybe they're trying to walk around this way, you can blow them up when they come through either one of these places, right? So that's what I'm talking about, bush baiting. Just think that next level. Where are they going to go? How can I get there first? Can I shut out vision and then blow them up out of a bush? It's a really simple concept, but it's something that a lot of people don't respect in Silver. It's very easy to blow them up, especially in the laning phase. If you come at them from different angles, like you're waiting in one bush one time, you're clearing out another bush, you're waiting another time, and then that puts fear in them too. They're going to be scared to step up. And when they're scared to step up or contest you, they're always living in fear. Then you can go get things like Dragon really easily when you push them in a tower because they're going to be too scared to go check. So that's a really straightforward thing that you can do to gain a lot of ELO in Silver is just to, bait bushes. And any lane can do that. You can do that in top lane by hanging out in some of those top bushes. You can do that in mid lane, right, by like clearing out one of your bushes and then just like hanging out, waiting for them to come ward it. Maybe they think you rotated, for example, right? So let's say that you're a, close that out here. Let's say that you're mid lane, right? You push them in. Let's say that you're a Malzahar or something, right? You push them in and then just like walk over, you can start walking this way. If you have a pink ward in this bush, and you put your control ward right here, then you can just, I don't know, random ward somewhere in there, but you have your ward right here. Then you can just hang out right here, and when their mid laner tries to come through here to go follow your roam, then you can just hang out and blow them up out of this bush, right? Because they might think you're roaming, they might try to follow you, blow them up. So that's just like some really simple stuff you can do in most lanes if you just get vision control and just go out of vision, just push them in, go out of vision. Or, if you do want to get a successful roam off, let's say you're Talon or something middle and you don't want to kill the mid laner, you want to kill the enemy, you can do this. You push them in right here, let the minions, are right here. Just do the little switcheroo like I talked about bot lane, right? Just let them see you, like start running this way, go out of vision, and then loop back around and run bot lane if you want to go bot lane. Or if you want to go top lane, loop around this way and go that way. Because they're going to ping the direction that you're going, right? They're going to see you running this way. They're going to ping top laner, watch out, and then you can do the little switcheroo and run down the bot side for them. So that's just an old school thing you can do, especially in Silver. People aren't going to buy a lot of wards. They're not going to have vision control. They're just going to be guessing. If they call MIA at all, then they'll be calling it the wrong way if you do that. So it's a really simple trick you can do to gain a lot of ELO. So learn how to bush bait, pick aggro lanes, trade with your autos and spells. So I have a laning guide here, but you want to pick stuff that can smash lane, right? So this is where, things like Zyra, Brand, Leona, that kind of stuff comes out. You start playing Draven, Lucian, maybe in the mid lane. Cassiopeia is a bit on the hard side to play, but you could try her out. You can play these push and roam champions. You play like Talon's really simple. Who else on here? Let me just see sort of these popular mid laners. Ahri is a fantastic one. Great wave clear, great roaming, pretty easy to play. Kassadin, very good, pretty simple to play. Galio, Fizz. A lot of these kind of assassins that can make some plays, get some kills. I know Kassadin's not like super lane aggressive, but Malzahar, always going to be good. You can push, pressure with him, start roaming. So there are quite a few good options there. Just play stuff where you can actively, you know, either push and roam aggressively, or you can push and try to like go for those kills aggressively in the laning phase. Usually mid lane is really, really good for roaming because you can go, you know, top, you can go bottom, you can go jungle, you can go to a lot of different places if you get control of the lane. But actively try to win the lane. Don't play to just like go even in the lane. Don't play to not lose, play to win. So play aggressive stuff starting in silver. And then trade with your spells and autos. See if, you know, if you're Ezreal, for example, see if you not only get a Q there, but if they step up too much, see if you can get an auto attack in there. You know, if you're playing Vayne and they step too close, see if you can get an auto on them, and then like maybe a Q reset, another auto. So just see if you can get those autos in there with your spells, and that'll help you dominate even harder. Now be careful whenever you auto attack. The minion wave is going to turn on you. It is going to attack you. So you want to make sure you're going to have the minion advantage. We talk about that with my laning guide right here. If you watch this, it'll talk about how to trade effectively in the laning phase. Just be aware that you don't want to do those autos if they have more minions than you, because it's going to hurt you a lot. But just look for good opportunities where you can use spells and autos, particularly if you have the minion advantage in the laning phase. They're not going to be able to fight you back. Because if you have like 6 minions pushing into their 3 and they try to fight you back in that minion wave, if you trade with a spell and an auto, and they try to all-in you, you're probably going to win because you got the first hits and you have more minions on your side that are going to be doing a lot more damage. So playing around minion waves is really important too, so be sure to watch that video and learn about that. And then finally, and this is something that a lot of people won't do, you know, even in gold, but you can start doing it in silver. It's really simple. Get priority before you do anything, right? And what I mean by that is push a wave, right? You're going to go contest Dragon, go push the wave. You want to set up Vision around Baron, go push the wave. You want to back, right? Before you go buy, push the wave. Most people understand the back before you buy, or like the push the wave before you buy thing. Just always push them into the tower, right? Because if you, like, let's say you get a kill in the laning phase, minions are stacked up right here, and it's like slow pushing this way, right? Like maybe you have 2 more minions than they have, and you don't push it in. What's going to happen is these minions are going to slowly kill the enemy minions, and they're going to start pushing into their wave. But if it's slow pushing, then they might be able to freeze it right here. So their AD carry is going to come down, and they're going to catch all these minions. So they might have a stack of 15 minions right there, but it just wiped through all of your minions. And so if you get a kill there, and you don't push that wave, and it's slow pushing, right? So maybe, you know, like I said, you have like maybe 2 more minions on your side than they have, and it gets to like a 15 stack right here. You've lost all those minions, and they're going to catch 15 minions right there. That can catch them all the way back into the game by the time they get there, right? They might even hit level 6 before you. And I know that can be baffling sometimes. It's like, wow, I got a kill in this lane. How am I behind in levels? Had they hit level 6 first? It's because you didn't push the wave properly, and because they got a lot of CS, they got a lot of experience, and they got a lot of gold. So they're not as far behind as you might think because you didn't push the wave. So just make sure that you're always pushing the wave in. Let's say that, you know, this will go with like being more proactive. You can start doing this early on too. But let's say, for example, let's scroll out here. Let's say the enemy jungler is top lane, right? You spot him on a ward or whatever. Your mid laners are about even, but your jungler is on the bot side, right? Maybe they're doing Scuttle Crab. Right? And you are like, maybe like right here, but you're in a pretty, a fairly dominant position in the lane, or you're at least neutral, right? So you're neutral to dominant. You see them top lane. You see your jungler around the scuttle. You can just push the wave in as fast as you can. Just ping Dragon as much as you can, communicate it, and then just push them in. Just take them all the way up to this tower, and then just rotate over here. Actually, that's switched. Yeah, your jungler is down here. Their jungler is trying to gank topside. Right? Let's say that it's, you know, something like this. Okay. Your jungler is getting the scuttle down here, or maybe he's on, like, blue or Gromp or something like that. Just ping this a lot. Push this wave in as much as you can. That's going to push them into the tower. And then when they go into the tower, you rotate over here and get Dragon. Right? Like, maybe maybe you're trying to get vision around Baron, right? Maybe you're on the blue side. And you're right here. Maybe other people are doing stuff. You know, maybe your mid laner's like coming back to lane. That would actually be a bad example of when to push. Let's say your mid laner's bot lane, your AD carry's like over here getting red or something, and you're just like in the middle as the support, right? And their mid laner's kind of scared because they don't have a lot of vision here. They're just sort of hanging back. Just push them in. Push them in right here as much as you can. If you have wave clear, if you're playing Brand or Zyra or something like that, see if you can push in this wave as much as possible. And then go like rotate and ward around Baron, right? So then you come over here and you can start dropping your wards, you know, like right here, maybe over the pit, over here, something like that, right? So just push it in before you go, right? If you're a top laner and you want to go rotate, right? Like let's say that you're split pushing, push them into the tier 2, and then like go rotate mid. So just anytime you're going to do anything, just put their minions in their tower, okay? So be careful. Don't take CS from your AD carry unnecessarily. Don't take CS from your mid laner. Try to be aware of that. But at the same time, the most important thing, default, put them in the tower, and then go do whatever you want to do. I talk about this a lot in my monster control video and in my 5 tips for diamond. I talk about it in a lot of videos, but a lot of people underestimate minions. It's really important that you put them in the tower. There's a few reasons for that. Number one, they're going to have to make a choice, right? Are they going to get these minions? So let's look at this example that I had down here with this dragon control, right? That's top. Okay, whatever. Top's up there somewhere. Support's down here. Your jungler's down here. So when you push them in, when you cast your spells, you know, as Zyra, when you drop your E here and a couple of plants with your Q, what you're forcing them to do is to say, okay, do we want to go take a look at Dragon and like miss 6 minions here? Do we want to miss like 150 gold and like half a wave of experience to go take a peek at this? If they do, let's say that they do, right? Let's say they come over here. Maybe their mid lane gets priority or whatever. They push in your mid laner. Then the mid lane starts coming down. You've got vision of that. You can say, okay, whatever, back up. No harm, no foul. Just leave. They lose, you know, 150 gold and half a wave of experience to their tower. You win. Okay, let's say the more likely scenario is they stay here. Tower also takes damage. So that's another win. Let's say the more likely scenario is they stay here. You rotate. You get the dragon. Boom, you win. So either way, you win, right? Either they lose experience and gold or they lose the dragon. So you always want to try to put them in a lose-lose situation. You want to put yourself in a win-win as much as possible. Another thing, when you push them into tower, so like that example where I pushed them into mid here before I tried to go over and ward as the support, you get vision of somebody. It's like a free ward. You put them in here, and you know where they are. You know the mid laner's there, so therefore it's going to be safer to ward here. Now, you don't know necessarily where the jungler or the top laner are, but you know where at least one person is because they have to go catch that wave, right? Another reason that you want to push them into the tower is because if you win a fight and you have priority on the wave, then you're going to be able to get an objective. So let's say you push it in here, and for some reason they want to come over here and make like a really aggressive play and like blast plan over to try to stop you. You're right here. Maybe they didn't see your jungler. Maybe your jungler is like right here, and they're just being really aggressive to try to stop you. Now you can collapse, you know, kill them, and now you already have a minion wave on their tower, right? So now, instead of just getting dragon, you can rotate over here, take this tower, and then go get the dragon, right? You know, mid lane, if you try to push this up before you go get Baron, they come over here, try to contest you at Baron, you can come back over here. You've got a minion wave already pushing the tower. You can take the tower. So it gives you vision of the enemy. It forces them into a bad decision. They're going to lose either way. And it prepares you in case you do win a team fight, you do have priority in the wave, then you're going to be able to push forward and get objectives a lot easier. Also, the fourth benefit, let's say something bad happens and they kill you, right? So let's say that somehow they get some miraculous outplays here, right? Maybe they completely catch you off guard and, you know, you end up killing their support, but their AD carry cleans up the rest of you, right? So that's bad. You know, their AD carry just got 3 kills. You had a 3-for-1 there. Or maybe a more likely scenario is like the AD carry like injures the jungler and 2 die, right? And your jungler has to limp away and back. right? So it's a 1 for 2. Well, now because their minions are in the tower, they can't push you in, right? So if you hadn't touched those minions, right? Like, let's say you just left the minions here and you tried to go rotate for dragon. If this play happened, they could potentially push you in and deny CS to you and maybe get some tower plating, right? But because you smartly push them in here, intelligently push them in, then now they're not only losing CS right here, but they're not going to be able to push this into your tower, right? Because you're going to have another minion wave that's going to come up and catch it like right here. So you're not going to be able to, let me amplify that up a little bit there. So they're not going to be able to get anything. So it gives you vision. It forces them into a bad decision. It gives you the ability to take more objectives if you do win a fight, and it makes it difficult for them to take objectives if they win a fight. So it's a super, super high important thing. I mean, pro level games are decided by minion wave management a lot of the times. If you ever go listen to some podcasts, I think Zazel on Beyond the Rift, if you go listen to him talking about that, like one of their major adjustments that allowed Cloud9 to get all the way to the semifinals was they adjusted what they were doing with minion waves. You know, they said that the Koreans typically always push the wave and they always play like a very clean, secure game. And they decided to next level them by giving up minion waves and just doing kind of some random aggressive stuff and bush baiting instead. So that was a really calculated play, but it was very, very against the grain because the standard that has won Koreans titles for years and years and years is superb macro play, is using those minion waves to your advantage. So it's very, very powerful. It's not hard to do, you know, on a basic level. All you do is just push before you go do anything. So in Silver, start doing that. You'll win a ton of games off of that alone. So that's a major thing that I would recommend at the Silver level is familiarizing yourself with that. You may not be a master of wave management, like when to freeze, when to push, how to build up a slow wave for a dive. Stuff like that's a little bit more advanced. But just the basic concept of get those minions in their tower before you back or go get an objective, that's something you can definitely do. Okay. Gold. So once you get to gold, you're starting to move into like strong player territory. I know that gold, you know, people make fun of that, but gold is really strong. I mean, that's like the top 25% of the player base for the most part. So try to see if you can get to 70 CS per minute. That is pretty ambitious for gold, but I think it's definitely possible. If you can get to like, you know, 65, that's pretty good too. But see if you can start to get into 70 CS at 10 minutes. Learn rotations and Baron trapping. So I talked about that a little bit, but expand kind of your vision game. Make sure that you have really good wards around Baron. And this is the #1 way you can win games. You can do this in Silver and Bronze as well, for sure. But definitely you want to start mastering this by the time you get to Baron. It's just learn how to trap Baron. So don't actually take Baron a lot of times, but trap it. So what do I mean by that? Let's say that you're red side here. You'll almost always have to have their tier 1 down. If you have their tier 2 down, it's great. But #1, as we just talked about, push them in. Okay, so you put them in as many different lanes as you can. Ideally, you get, you know, all 3 lanes pushed in, where obviously that's a little off screen. But, you know, push in your 3 lanes, and then you can have like your top laner. Usually you want your top laner on the bot side, so we'll just put them down here. You want your top laner down there with their teleport. Everyone else is over here, and then they are going to be in a pretty defensive position. Where's their top laner? Is he dead? Probably. Where did he go? Am I just blind? Okay, jungle, mid, support, 80 carry. Okay, he's overlapping up here. This is like Where's Waldo, if anyone remembers those things. Those were awesome. Okay, so we've got a top laner showdown over here. Scroll in a little bit. So, okay, so you're going to be pushed in over here. Top laner's pushing them in or whatever, applying some pressure. Now, they're going to be like, you know, clearing in the mid lane, probably like trying to ARAM middle, because this is what happens all the time. Everyone knows this. You know, when you get an advantage, everyone just ARAMs, and then it's like goes to 30 minutes, and someone on your team gets caught, you throw, you lose, that's it, right? You don't want that to happen. So how do you make that not happen? You bait them around Baron. So, you know, all of them, let's say they're junglers even over here, you know, they're not really sure what to do. They're all kind of pushed in, wanting to ARAM. You push them in, you rotate over here. You sweep out this area, You know, you have your control wards. You can sweep the pit. Put a control ward here is usually one of the best spots just to make sure they don't have sneaky wards like around these walls. People probably won't have that in gold, but ideally you want to sweep this area, sweep the pit. If you have mobility boots on a support, that's really good for doing that, but the jungler can help you sweep, or if someone has a dust blade or whatever, get the vision out of there, and then just come hang out in this area, right? So this is the best place you can stand. Okay, so just everyone's just hanging out here. You have all the waves pushed in. Now, they have a choice. What are they going to do, right? You see them because they're pushed in, right? And a lot of times you'll see that they're going to try to group up and probably run through here. So, there, you know, there will be at least one person will try to come over here. You might have the mid laner and, like, the AD carry over here, and, you know, the jungler's over here clearing. The support might try to come over here and think they can sneak a ward in this bush, right? You'll see them coming, and then just boom, you just pounce on them and kill them. Rinse and repeat. Do this over and over again. Sometimes people will think they're getting cute. They're going to be sneaky and go this way. Boom. Pounce on them right there. Right? So basically, they either have to give you the Baron, or they have to continually walk in here and face check over and over and over again, and you just kill them. Just kill them over and over again. And then after you kill them, you know, once or twice, then you can get the Baron. Pretty soon they'll be too scared. And if you notice that they're too scared to come in, then you just kill them. But a lot of times, they'll just sprinkle in here one at a time. They might group up. But either way, you're going to get the jump on them. You're going to get the kill. And just rinse and repeat. Do this every single time until you win. Just push in the lane, push in mid, push in top when you have an advantage. Once it's in their tower, come over here, get vision control of this area. They have to face check it. They only have so many blue trinkets they can use to try to, you know, spot this. You're going to kill them. They can't do anything. Like, there's no way they can win. And, like, your team has to do something profoundly stupid to throw. And I know that happens a lot. But this is, like, the ultimate strategy, right? All you do, just lock them out. Once you get the Baron, once they get tired of dying, you get that Baron, then you can just walk it up middle, get the inhibitor, and then it's just academic. Clean up all the top tower, all the towers. You know, get what you can with the Baron. Rinse and repeat. Grab all the dragons that show up. Take all their jungle. Ward that up. As soon as Baron's up in about 1 minute, get over here. Sweep out all the vision. Put down a pink ward. Put down these wards. And that's it. Rinse and repeat. You know, after 1 or 2 Barons, you win the game. It's that simple. So you really need to master this technique. On the other side, I think it's harder to defend if you're on blue side to defend the Baron from red side, because this wall is always a threat they can jump over. But you can do this too. So let's say that you're blue side this time. You know, they're all pushed in over here. The best way you can really bait this, we'll just leave those top players down the bot side. The best place for this, ideally, is hang out here. Now, I'm deliberately not putting you in this bush. Okay? Now, the reason for this is a lot of times people will know you could be baiting right here, and they will, like, use some skill shots or something in this bush. You know, Ezreal might throw a Q in here or whatever. Stand right here, and then ward this, and ward this, right? And then you can pink ward this, just to make sure that it's not warded, right? So they're going to have to come in and check, right? It's the same deal. Either you're going to do the Baron, or they're not going to check. The only difference is you're a lot further away from the Baron, so it's a lot harder for you to, like, actually do the Baron if they're not coming. You have to rotate over and all that stuff. Versus right here, you're right next to the Baron. So if they don't start rotating over in like 5 to 10 seconds, you can just do the Baron. Right here, you got to walk around, and then if they do start to come over after that, you have to try to get back over here. So it's harder to pull it off on this side, but you can do it. And so this way, if they come through here, boom, you got them. They come through here, you got them, right? If you have priority, they're not going to come through the middle. That's not happening because you've got them pushed in like a good player. So they're going to have to come through here. Now, like, some extremely smart players might try to, like, rotate over here and ward this pit. If they ward the pit, no problem, right? You've got a pink ward in there anyways. And they're behind enemy lines. If they try to come over and clear the pink, you can collapse on them and kill them, right? If they don't, then they might think, oh, they're not doing Baron, it's safe. Then they try to walk over here, and boom, you got them. But this is the best place because then you can respond if they come here. You can respond if they come here. They might, like, throw some skill shots in here to check. They might throw some skill shots in here to check. They're not going to throw skill shots right here. So the best places you can be to bait this are right here along this wall, because once again, you can respond to this and you can respond to that, both directions. You know, they're going to throw skill shots in this bush probably. You're not going to be there. And then if they don't see you there, they'll probably just walk straight in, or they'll walk over here. Same deal right here. They'll throw the skill shots. They'll throw the skill shots maybe. Then they'll walk in. You kill them. So just farm them over and over and over again. If you can do that and get your team to do that when you're winning, you'll win so many games, it'll just blow your mind. It's so easy to win if you can just get your team to do that. Okay? Now, I don't want this to take too much longer. I don't want it to be too long of a guide. But one thing, I would just say watch my dodge guide in general and try to dodge more games. Dodging is very, very beneficial, especially your 3-point dodge of the game. It does start to matter in gold. People start to get specialized. People start to get good on their champions. And if you have somebody who's trying to first time a champion up against somebody that has like 300 games on a champion, it's really, really bad, right? So if that's happening a couple of different times, it's going to be trouble. So you can just go to something simple like op.gg, just type in some names here, and you can see the champions that they play and their win percentage. Now, this is over the entire season. You can also go to a website, Porofessor. Now, that's only for games that are live, but you can go to Porofessor and type in somebody's name, and it'll show you everybody's live. That's just for the last 30 days. So that'll let you know sort of what's current, that people know how to play. So you can use both of them. You know, op.gg gives you sort of a longer-term view of the champions they play, what they know how to do, and then Porofessor gives you that short-term view of what they've been doing recently. So, you know, and this is not always indicative, right? You know, maybe somebody just has a bad game or so. Keep in mind the sample size. If they only have 5 games on a champ and they're 100% or they're 0% or whatever, it may not matter that much, right? But if they start to have, you know, like more than 50 games on a champ and it's not looking good, that's going to be pretty rough, right? So that's not always the case. But it is something to keep in mind. You know, if you have 3 people on your team that are all playing champions, they have like a 40% win rate on, that's going to get rough. Or if it's just like a really bad matchup, like you want to start learning matchups too. You know, if it's just a really bad matchup, and I talk about that in my dodge video. I'll also have a matchup video, I think, on the channel. You need to dodge, right? So if it's something like Draven Leona bottom against like Jinx Janna or something like that, it's going to be really, really bad. You're going to get absolutely bulldozed probably early on. So that's something that's going to be very scary. Or if you have, you know, like first-time Kassadin into like a Talon that has like 500 games on Talon, or, you know, top lane, it's, I don't even know, like Darius into Ornn or something like that. You just... you need to be very careful about that, and you need to be using your dodges. So watch the video. I talk a lot about explaining what a dodge is, how to dodge mathematically, how it can benefit you, when you should dodge, and a few different theories for thinking about dodging. So learn matchups, learn how to dodge. You know, you can start getting some counter picks in there if you know really good counter picks for certain champs. I would say it's more important to play champions you're comfortable with rather than champions that counter. But if you know a champion that's like pretty good into another champion and you're comfortable on it, so like if you can play Thresh into Leona, play Thresh into Leona. So just start putting that on your radar a little bit, thinking about, you know, how is this champion going to fit into this matchup, or how is this champion going to fit into this team comp? You know, I really like playing this AD champion, but we have all AD on our team, so maybe I should go AP. So just start thinking about compositions a little bit more. And just learn how to adjust your playstyle more. I mean, we mentioned that up here in like bronze as well about the deaths, but just learn how to play when you're behind, right? So just say, look, I'm losing this lane, or I'm just not playing very well this game. I'm going to chill. I'm going to, you know, get some defensive items. Or if your AD carry's feeding hard, right? Maybe your AD carry's 0-5. And, you know, but maybe your mid laner's 5-0. Play around your mid laner, give them your vision, get some items that are good for them. So maybe instead of getting Ardent Censer, get something like a, you know, a Knight's Vow. Or, you know, instead of putting your Knight's Vow on your AD carry, maybe put it on your, you know, mid lane Irelia because they're doing better. So just think about like who's doing well on your team, and try to play around that a bit more. Adjust your play styles, stop feeding, and do what you know you need to do to win, right? And then in gold is where you want to start thinking about actively shot calling as well. So you want to be, pinging timers. When did they flash? When did they use their heal? What's the dragon timer? Mid lane's missing, top lane's missing, bot lane's missing, and try to do it for every lane, not just your lane, right? If you're the support in the bot lane and you see the enemy jungler in the topside river, ping that, right? If you see that the top laner uses their teleport, go ahead and ping that, right? So that everybody knows. So don't just watch your lane, especially if you're the support, but really if you're any lane and you see something, ping it, right? So just communicate as much as you can early on. And shot call. Tell people, hey, let's go get the dragon. Hey, let's go get towers. Hey, let's, go steal the red buff. I just saw their jungler top lane. Let's get something. Let's see if we can get the red buff. Call that Baron bait. Now, you can do that at any ELO, but you definitely want to step it up and start doing that a lot in gold. Most people will recognize the correct play, but they just may not think of it themselves. So keep that and start tracking the jungler. Start thinking in your mind, okay, jungler started blue side, so they're probably going to be red side in about 3 minutes. So we can play around that. That means we can be more aggressive in the bot lane. Once we see they aren't taking river scuttle, because we have that warded, we can start taking, we can be more aggressive in the bot lane. Or if you're a top laner, you might think, okay, I need to be a bit more defensive around 3 or 4 minutes because I know their jungler could be up here because they started blue. Right? Or maybe something like your jungler just had a gank top lane. Their jungler never showed up, right? And so maybe you start to get a little suspicious. You're like, wow, that was like a 30-second fight top lane. Their jungler never showed up. The bot lane is starting to be a bit more aggressive. There's a high chance that the enemy jungler could be on the bot side trying to make a play. Okay, so just start thinking about the jungler and take that into consideration whenever you're making your plays, right? Whenever you're thinking about whether you should be more defensive or whether you should be more aggressive, just start thinking about where that jungler could be. And then finally, we have Platinum. You should aim for 80 CS per minute if you can get that. That is optimistic, but it is definitely achievable. Learn your win conditions and play around them. So this is kind of an extension of shot calling, but just think about how do we actually win this game, right? And this can go into whether or not you should dodge as well. Do you have win conditions? So maybe like the Irelia is 5-0. You should start playing around Irelia. Maybe your team has really good team fighting, right? So maybe you have something like, I don't know, a Twitch, a Braum, and like a Cassiopeia or something like that. So if that's the case, maybe you need to start team fighting more. Or if you have an Ornn or something and they have a Tryndamere and your Ornn keeps trying to split against Tryndamere, shot call him. Say, dude, you're not going to beat him in one-on-one combat. Let's come see if we can team fight, push out that lane. Let's see if we can get a team fight in here instead. So maybe you do have a really good ARAM siege comp. Maybe you need to make an audible and just say, hey, our Xerath's really far ahead. Maybe their jungler is really good. Maybe they have a Lee Sin that's like 3 levels higher than our jungler. Maybe it's too risky to try to go for a Baron. Maybe we can just siege him in the mid ARAM style with our, our Ezreal and our Xerath that are super fed. Maybe you can't team fight. Now, this is something that does happen. If your team's really far behind, don't try to team fight them if they have a really good team fight team, right? Just let your Camille or your Tryndamere, your Fiora or whatever go to work in a side lane, right? Let them see if they can push out and get some advantages there. Maybe hide in a bush, like get some vision, and you can't beat them in a clean fight. Just see if you can bush them, right? Maybe you have like some good assassins. So maybe you can try to split the map 1-3-1. Maybe you have somebody go top lane and just push out the wave and go bot lane and push out the wave. And then you have like your maybe Zed who's fed, roam around in the jungle and see if they can pick people off when you get up good vision. So just start thinking about how do you actually win the game, who's fed on your team, and what are your champions good at? What is your team good at, right? If you have a jungler that's missed 2 smites on Dragon, don't have a smite fight around Baron. I'd say don't have smite fights anyways, but especially if that's the case. So just try to think about that. What is your win condition, and how can you make that happen more? Okay, learn how to manage the wave for the matchup. So I just kind of mentioned this earlier about how you always want to push in, but think a little bit carefully, and I talk about this in my lane video, so be sure to watch that up there, but there's certain wave positions you want for certain kinds of matchups. So You know, if it's something like a Leona or an Alistar, for example, you may not want to push them into tower all the time, right? Because you have to have some takeoff room. You have to be able to go in and engage on them and fight. So with Leona, you want the wave about in the middle so that you can actually engage on them. So down here, I talk about this in the video, so watch that for more at length. But like with something like a an all-in engage champion, like a Thresh or a Leona or an Alistar or a Pike, you want to be like right here so that you can land that hook on somebody and actually fight them. You know, if you have them pushed all the way in right here, it's going to be really hard early game. You're not going to be able to go in as Leona probably. Or it's going to be super risky. You might die under the tower or Thresh or something like that. Or maybe they have something like a Thresh or a Blitzcrank. It might be really dangerous to try to harass under tower. You know, maybe they have something like a Leona. Maybe they're really far ahead and they can blow you up. So you do not want to push them in. You do not want it in the middle. Maybe you want to just try to freeze it outside. Maybe they are just pushing you in over and over again. And you just do your best to try to freeze right here so that they can't engage on you, right? Because if they try to do that, then you might be able to kill them. So maybe you have to just hang out and try to farm. You know, if it's like Ezreal Janna against Draven Leona, you might have to do something like this, right? So just think carefully about what's the best way for you to win the lane. Maybe maybe the jungler is like really dangerous and they're just always hanging around top lane. Maybe they're camping you all the time. Even if you have an advantage, even if it's like Darius versus Ornn or something like that up here, if you're the Darius, you might just have to freeze right here against this Ornn, even though you're thinking, man, if I go really hard on this guy, I'm level 6 right now, you know, I'm really far ahead of him. You know, if you think the jungler is going to be, you know, in this area, you just can't do it. You just got to have some discipline and just chill and just freeze the wave right there. So, you know, it takes practice. It takes experience. This is why this is kind of a platinum thing. It's, you know, more advanced. But you want to start thinking about, how do I want to manage this wave? Do I want to push in? Do I want to freeze it in the middle and try to go for hard engages? Do I want to play it back defensively so that it makes it a lot harder for enemies to kill me? You know, you have to decide. You have to learn based on the matchup and sort of choose. But just put that on your radar and start deliberately crafting the wave the way that you want it, right? Don't just, you know, auto attack every time on the minion if you don't intend to push. And then finally, just seek out maximum advantages to close out games. Now, I have a whole video on that. If you look at my top 5 tips of Diamond, it'll tell you that. But that's just going to depend on the situation. But always just try to get as much as you possibly can. So we talked about this earlier. So if you get a kill, you know, try to push in the wave. See if you can get one of those tower plates, if possible. You know, if you see the jungler top side, don't let them get away with that. If they're on vision in the top side and you can push in the bot wave like we talked about earlier, push it in. Like, go push them in and see if you can get their dragon. See, you know, see if their blue's about to spawn. If your jungler's down here, see if you can get the blue, get the scuttle, get some wards, right? Maybe you see them top lane. All you can do, maybe like the dragon's not spawned, there's no blue. Maybe you can at least get wards deep. So maybe you can come over here if you have Moby boots and just get some deep wards, you know, up and down this river while you know it's safe, while the enemy's top lane. So just see, like, whatever you can do, right? Like, and that doesn't even necessarily have to be you. Like, shot call that for your team. So, for example, maybe maybe your jungler's top lane, right? So maybe they, where are these little J's? So maybe the enemy jungler is down here. Maybe because you got deep vision, you see the enemy junglers like doing their blue right now or whatever. You know, top laners are up here, right? Maybe your jungler is up here trying to like make a gank. Maybe they get their top laner really low, but they can't quite kill him. And you see their jungler on the bot side. Just ping out the Rift Herald or something. Maybe say, hey, go get Rift. Or maybe they have you pushed in and, you know, they're trying to do the dragon and you see that, right? And they pushed you into lane and your jungler is like on the top side. Maybe your top laner is getting priority. Maybe your top and your mid have priority here, right? Maybe they have them pushed in. And you're about to lose the dragon. Ping the Rift Herald. Say, hey, do Rift. Come over here, get Rift Herald. And then maybe the top laner will come down and help. Maybe the mid will come over there and help as well. So just see if you can get a trade. They got a dragon? Okay, whatever. Let's see if we can get Rift-tailed, right? So just see whatever you can do. This is especially important if you're the jungler, right? You know, if you see the top laner up top, you can't get a good gank bottom, at least try to go get their camps or get a dragon or get the scuttle or just get something. But you can get that and you can shot call that from any position, right? Even as a support, even if you're not top lane, you can still ping it, right? Or maybe maybe your jungler is getting invaded and they are, you know, it's just getting so crazy, you know, that they can't call anything. Right, so maybe they're getting invaded right here, and they're just trying to micro so much, they just forget to ping because they start freaking out or something. You can ping it. Just ping assist, like ping help, 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 help. Right, even if you're in the bot lane, and then maybe your top laner rotates down, and your mid laner rotates over there to help them. So just communicate, just ping, look for those advantages. Just say, okay, what can we get? Their top lane, can we get dragon? Can we get vision? Can we get their camps? Can we just be really aggressive in our lane and deny some CS? Or we just pushed them in mid lane. We just got priority. What can we do? Can we get vision, you know, over here? Can we go get scuttle? Can we go bait them around Baron? Can we sweep out their vision around dragon? Like, just constantly just be thinking, what's every little advantage I can possibly get, right? Depending on where they are on the map, what they're doing, right? Maybe they are, you see the back lane has to buy, right? So maybe they took a really bad trade. You weren't able to kill them, but you see that they have to buy. Right, and you're just like, hey, let's just go get dragon right now. Go, 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 go. Whenever they take a bad buy, right? Maybe your jungler was doing raptors or something. He's like, okay, let's go over here and do it. So maybe you didn't get the kill, but you can still get a dragon off of it, or a scuttle, or deep vision, or something. Just always try to maximize whatever you can get. Don't just settle on, okay, we got a kill, or okay, we made them back and we pushed it in the tower. Sometimes that's okay, but just ask yourself, could I do more? Right? What else can I do? So, you know, if you win a fight around dragon, for example, let's say that, you know, you're positioning around dragon, they're trying to fight you over this Windrake or something at 25 minutes. They're all coming in. Let's say that, you know, like a good team, you got priority in the mid lane and the bot lane, right? So you pushed them up, you know, the wave's about right here. This wave's like over here. They're coming in and try to contest this dragon. Let's say that you win the fight, right? So their jungler's down here. Let's say you kill their jungler, and let's say you kill like their mid laner, and everyone else just kind of limps out, right? So like they're all at half health or something like that. What is the correct play here? False. The correct play is Baron. Okay? Because you killed their jungler if you can. You have priority in all of your lanes, so drop what you're doing right there. Do not do that dragon and get up here and get Baron immediately, right? If, you know, obviously there are some circumstances, right? Like maybe they, like your jungler dies, you don't have a smite or whatever. But if most of your team is intact, if it's possible for you to do the Baron, if they all have to back, don't do the dragon. Go do the Baron immediately because that's the bigger objective, right? So, you know, people in like low diamond and high platinum will do this sometimes, but, you know, shot call it. Just make sure they do it. Not everyone's going to do that. There will be a lot of teams that'll just settle for, okay, we just got a couple of kills, let's just get this dragon, when they could have done the Baron instead. So just always make sure you're maximizing whatever you can get. Don't just settle for, you know, little small prizes. Go for those big prizes if it makes sense, if it's safe to do it. Or like maybe you win a fight mid lane. Right, this is another one that's like really common. Maybe you win a fight mid lane. Over here, let's say that it's a similar thing. Maybe you, you know, you kill the jungler, you kill the mid laner. Let's say you even kill, like the top laner, right? And like a good team, you had the wave pushed up. So now, what's the correct play? Let's say that, let's say their tier 2 is down. Let's say you actually have it pushed up to like about right here, but the tier 2 is down. All 5 of your people are alive. And in pretty good shape. And they're kind of on the run, right? The correct play is to get inhibitor, okay? So a lot of teams might say, okay, let's go get Baron. You want to get the inhibitor first. Inhibitor is still going to almost always be more powerful than Baron. Baron is very strong right now, but a lot of times what you can do is you'll push them back. It depends on spawn timers and all this stuff. But I think a lot of times people, you know, they win like a fight. Maybe they even ace or something like that, and they'll just go get the Baron. Let's just say that you ace just for the heck of it. get the inhibitor first. You always want to get the most forward objective because then you can always scale back after you get priority to go get the Baron. So what you can do now is you have that inhibitor, right? You blow that up. If the spawn timers are long enough and you push in the wave, you might be able to go get the Baron anyways because they're going to have super minions pushed into their base pretty soon, and they're not going to be able to rotate over here fast enough. Or you might just be able to bait it. So you could run over here and just do kind of the bait game that we talked about before, right? Throw down a couple of vision wards there, you know, pink this bush. Well, pink Baron, and then if there's no ward there, pink this bush. Then just have everyone sit right here. They might scramble over here, just like 3 of them. Like maybe the support, the jungler, and the AD carry all kind of limp over here. Boom, jump out of a bush, kill them, then get the Baron. Right? Whereas if you just got the Baron, you're going to let them reset, and then they're going to be able to defend that tower. You know, someone randomly might want to go get red buff, and someone's going to get wolves and say, hold on, I got to back and get one more longsword before we push with this Baron. And then before long, you've only got 30 seconds left on Baron, and you're not able to accomplish anything. So just always try to get those forward objectives. You know, think that next level. Whoa, we just won this really big. Let's get the inhibitor, and then we can bait the Baron or do something else around it. So just try to seek out how to get that maximum advantage and close out games as fast as you can. Okay, once again, that's not an exact science, but in that video I talk a lot about it, and I talk about that a lot in other videos as well. But that's going to be it. So real tips to help you climb. I know it's a bit on the long side. It's about an hour 15, but I wanted to give you some real stuff that y'all could use. I wanted to, you know, break out the, I don't know what you'd call it, the chalkboard here, draw up a couple of plays for you, let you learn some stuff. So let me know what you think. Do you like this video? Would you like to see more videos like this? This is real tips to help you gain and climb out of each one of these ELO brackets. Once you get into Diamond, it's just really refining a lot of this stuff. It's just learning matchups even better, macroing even better, all of that kind of stuff. But this should set you up with the basics that should be able to propel you up into low Diamond if you're doing these things eventually. So that's going to be it. Thank you very much. Don't forget, like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Special thanks to Lucas once again for the guide. I really appreciate the donation, and I'll see everyone next time. Have a great day.